the Hodge Podcast, the official podcast of CountryHodgepodge.com. I'm your host, Steve Hodge, and as always, joining me is my co-host, cousin, and lover, Kevin Hodge.
Well, hello, everyone.
I don't know if anyone's heard, but Luke Bryan has a new song out. So, it's a day for celebrating.
Stop the presses!
But we listened to it right before. Well, I had listened to it before. Kevin hadn't heard it, so I played it for him right before.
So, rapid reaction. Here we go.
Right? So we listened to it right before we started recording, and the first thing, before we get into the negative, we'll get into the good. It's a country song.
Well, yeah, and so it started, and it's got, a guitar riff going, and there's no hip-hop beats, and I'm just, pleasantly surprised for once. And, it sounded pretty decent. And then he started singing.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't come as too big of a surprise because it is co-written by Dallas Davidson, king of I write songs about sitting on tailgates drinking beer because my life is sitting on tailgates drinking beer.
And to bring up a thing that we have said before, but just to say it again, we know that Luke Bryan, as a person, him as a dude, does all of the country things. He goes hunting, he likes being outside, he does all of the country things. And so when in this song he's talking about, I think the line was like, I got my dirt road cred or something.
When I was 12
yeah,
or something.
I don't deny that at all.
Yeah.
I believe that is 100% true. However, when you're in your... What is he?
41.
Yeah, but he's in his 7th, 8th album or whatever the fuck. You don't need a song to come out to be like, yeah, well, when I was 12, I became a country boy, so that's what makes me country. When also the entire point of this song seems to me to be his response to people calling him out for not being country.
Yeah.
And he completely misses the point where people are like, just because you say country things doesn't mean that it is a country song.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, well, I'm just going to say a super laundry listy, pandering country song words, but I'm going to have an actual guitar in it, so boom, checkmate.
And the first verse is legitimately people be saying what ain't and what is country, but we're all different people, we're all country people, and then he goes
and I like that, and it's a good start until he then says, I drive my truck down dirt road, and and you're just all of the same things all over again.
Literally, you said that's not what makes you country, and then he goes, but this is what makes me country, and then he does the thing he said you're not supposed to do in the verse.
Exactly. And I realize it's going to be one of those songs that will... It's a Luke Bryan song, so obviously it'll get picked up and played a bunch.
Yeah.
But it's totally one of those that people who listen to the pandering type of music are going to latch onto him yeah, exactly, because there's going to be a bunch of people out there that do all of the country things, the people who live out in the rural country and do all these things every day. They're going to be like, yeah, exactly, this is talking about my life. And it'll be like, yeah, this is exactly why country music is pandering, because this dude who, granted, again, like I said, Luke Bryan, we know, he hunts and fishes and all that shit.
Yes.
However, when you're on your fucking 7th, 8th, whatever album, and you've already made a bunch of music, you don't need to have a laundry list pandering song come out, especially when it's apparently in the response.
It's his 6th album.
6th album, sorry. Well, how many Spring Break EPs did he
have? Oh, yeah, I guess not counting Spring Break, because he does have 12 of those.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know, when it seemed like he was going to take the opportunity to actually say something about, because he could have taken that song and talked about, it's not, dressing like this and acting like this that makes you country. It's the feeling, the Waylon Jennings quote that I don't want to totally get wrong. Was it Waylon Jennings or was it Johnny Cash? Whoever said it, just
where he says it's not like a.
Well, it's just it's a feeling, exactly. And so he could have gone that route, but then no, then it just stops and the same old chorus starts.
Yeah, and then it's so bad. But no, yeah, it's just. But the one thing I have to say is that it makes me a little more optimistic about his album.
Because I would have no problem. I mean, I can listen to that and not be hitting my head against the wall, much like some of his most recent charting songs. Like that one, I'm like, all right, it's got a good guitar riff going on. It's although he's saying a bunch of laundry listy type stuff, it's still catchy and whatever. I'm fine with it, but
Yeah. So here are his leads, because I would just wanted to say, like, his lead singles into his albums are usually an indication of what his albums are going to sound like. His lead single into his very first was All My Friends Say, which is a dumb drinking or hangover song, but it's still a country song, and it's goofy.
Yeah, and like I said on the Justin Moore episode, kind of like when you first start out, you know, you're just starting to make music, and you have some of these more, you know, laundry list type, you know, saying the same words. Like, if that's your first couple songs, you know, you get a little pass for a while.
Yeah.
It's when you start making a habit out of, this is now the only thing I'm going to sing about.
But then his other singles off that CD were We Rode in Trucks, which is,
Great song.
It's a little pandery, like, it's because it's about We Rode in Trucks.
Yeah, but it's still very well
just a
written
heartfelt.
song. Yeah, it's a very well written song.
And then Countryman, which is kind of dumb, but that album overall was a country album. It had a lot of good songs. And then his lead single from his second album, Doing My Thing, was Do I.
Which is a great song.
Yeah. And then he went from that to Rain Is a Good Thing, which is just a dumb drinking song.
Yeah.
Someone Else Calling You Baby is fine.
Yeah.
And then, but then that's when he started going downhill. His lead single to Tailgates and Tan Lines is Country Girl Shake It For Me.
Yeah.
Which is atrocious.
That was
And then I Don't Want This Night to End. It's not awful, but it's not. It starts having that beat of not country.
Yeah.
Same with Drunk on You and Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye.
Yeah, it's just a lot of those that I just kind of stopped caring.
Yeah.
You know? Because I very much enjoy. Do I was the first one I ever heard, and that's a good song.
Yeah, that's what got me into him.
Yeah, and so I started listening to more of it, and then when he got to that point, I was like, okay, I'm just
I started checking out during Tailgates and Tan Lines because there's a lot of it on that we liked, like You Don't Know Jack, written by Erin Enderlin, who we talked about. If you haven't listened to that episode, listen to it. She's awesome. But yeah, there was that, and there was just a bunch of good songs off that album, and then it was just half good, half bad. And then his lead single, Crash My Party, was the title track of Crash My Party, which it was I didn't hate it, but I did not like it. Then That's My Kind of Night, which Zach Brown infamously said is like the worst song ever.
Yeah, it's just, God.
And then Drink a Beer, which is awesome.
Drink a Beer is a great song.
Play It Again, I liked. Wasn't great, but
did not like it.
I didn't mind it. But then Roller Coaster, which
I didn't like that one either.
I didn't mind that one. ICU, I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either.
I'd probably recognize it if I heard it. But then that's when he just died, and then Kill the Lights started with Kick the Dust,
which is so bad.
Yeah. And then I'm just kind of looking at the songs he released from it. The only one it's not good, but it's at least country. We've talked about this. Is Huntin', Fishin', Lovin' Every Day.
Yeah,
it's a country sounding song. It's just a really bad.
It's just
lyrically.
dumb. And I don't know how many times I've said it on the podcast, but I know I've said it to you a bunch of times. Is that he's kind of okay with me until he wraps up the hunting, fishing, love it every day thing with, that's the prayer this country boy prays. Like, that's just the stupidest, like, fucking pandering ass wrap up to a chorus line I have ever seen in my life.
I thought he released that one where he name drops Charlie Pride. I thought that was one that he made. Single.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called.
I don't remember. Anyway,
yeah, because we've talked about that where it's just like, I guarantee no one who's listening to modern Luke Bryan is like, oh, I'm going to now switch on to listening to Charlie Pride.
Is Light It Up a good song? I've never heard it.
I don't know.
I guess that's his lead single. I didn't realize that one was before this. I thought this song was his lead single, but it says he has a single called Light It Up that came out, which I guess is his lead single. But anyway, I don't know. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is that this lead single, at least it's a country song. It's not some dance song being like, get ready for my album because we're going to party.
Yeah, I'm more happy about just the physical sound of it, the instruments.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually having instruments included.
Yeah, which is what a couple songs on his last album had, like we said, Hunt, Fishin', whatever, Every Day. That's a country song, despite it being a bad one. And then he had To the Moon and Back, which is really good. And then, so he had like a couple like actual country songs. And the fact that he's leading into his new one with a country sound means hopefully he's trying to make music that'll last longer.
Yeah, it could be that he has some good songs on the album, but he has to have a radio-friendly...
Yeah.
thing to go out.
And the thing we said it. Oh God, I don't even know. I was still living in Lyle. I remember when we said this. Is that these artists need to start making songs that are going to last forever, because no one's going to want to see 60-year-old Luke Bryan up there be like, "Look at me shake my hips."
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing that always blows my mind about, like him, other artists like that who are, in their 40s, who are married and like have kids, and they're still singing.
Jared Neiman.
Yeah, like singing from this perspective of, I'm going out on the town every night trying to bring a new girl home. It's like, if this dude was like 25 and singing shit, I'm like, you know what? Fine. He, still in that zone. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't listen to it, but I would understand it. But when you have like a very, a long musical track listing, and you're still doing that, it's like, wait, but we all know that's not what you do.
Yeah. And then, like the comparison I can think, I know we talked, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but we did talk about it, how Luke Bryan sings about partying from the perspective of a 21-year-old trying to pick up a 21-year-old, whereas Kid Moore talks about just being single at 37 and partying as a 37-year-old. Like, he lives as a 37-year-old in his songs.
Yeah. Which is what you would expect. I mean, like, because I'm not saying, because there's so many songs that come from a perspective of, didn't actually live through it, but you're singing it so that other people can relate. Yeah. However, partying isn't like an experience that you have to relate to. If someone sings a song from the perspective of someone who's lost like a parent, like, you don't have to have actually lost a parent to sing that song, because it's going to connect with people. But singing about partying is like, dude, like, just stop.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so
so there's that.
I'm cautious about this new album, but I mean, I've given all of his albums a listen, because like we've talked about before, I love being wrong when it comes to musicians. If they come out with music that I like, then cool.
And I take it from the perspective of, I got to know what I hate, because I will never be the person who, obviously, if you listen to this podcast at all, I have very angry opinions on lots of things, but I at least listen to it first to know whether or not I hate it, and that's what that's what I'm going to do. So I will listen to it. If nothing else, to know that, yes, I still hate this.
You being angry, that just reminded me, Abby tagged me in another thing on Instagram today, and her comment is just, everything this page posts is just Kevin to a T, and I replied, I'm pretty sure this is Kevin's Instagram, and he's just not telling anyone.
I'm just hiding it. I'm not letting anyone know.
And the meme she tagged you it, or tagged me in, and then commented about you, it says, it's very hard to make friends as an adult, because once you're an adult, you realize you hate everyone.
That is not wrong. That is not wrong at all. Speaking of Abby, shout out, happy birthday.
Yeah, it's her birthday.
If you're listening to this today, which I know you're not, but still, happy birthday.
If you're ever listening to this. But yeah, so Luke Bryan, we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
But who I know is going to suck is Walker Hayes. Because
oh, my God.
We talked about it. I know we talked about the song because it's one of the worst fucking songs ever made.
Yeah. And seriously, if you haven't listened to You Broke Up With Me by Walker Hayes, like I said before, if nothing else, to just know what you hate, because you got to know what you hate, listen to it, because it will, wherever you think the bar was at in terms of lowness, trust me, it's lower.
Yeah. It's about a married man with 6 kids singing about as if he's a 15-year-old with a girl.
Yeah, and there's just like, it's like it's written to try to sound like how millennials talk, but it just sounds so clunky and terrible on top of just a terrible beat, and just trash.
Yeah,
from start to finish.
Which is a lead into his album title, which is Boom.
It's just called Boom. And then his explanation was just like, well, I just like saying boom.
I like saying boom.
like
wait, it's just him being a douche, being like, yeah, this is the album I'm putting out. Mic drop, boom.
Yeah, like it just makes no sense to me.
Like, you guys hate that I'm here, but I ain't leaving, boom.
Yeah, it just 100% to me feels as though he's like, all right, well, this Sam Hunt character is like doing really well with this whole, market. Just the entire thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And I want to get in on that.
Sam Hunt light.
Exactly.
But yeah, so he's just
square chin Sam Hunt.
He looks like a Lego. But God damn it. But yeah, like it was like when Thomas Rhett posted this video on Instagram, like he was hanging out with Walker Hayes or whatever. Because, like I said, I follow Thomas Rhett on Instagram because he seems like a nice person. His music just sucks. But
hashtag power couple.
Yeah, because we got into that too many times. But anyway, he like posted a video of Walker Hayes, and they know they're not country music because Thomas Rhett's like aiming the camera at Walker Hayes. He goes, "So, Walker, you're traditional country, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course," like sarcastically. And then he goes, "I'm like George Strait Button sweatpants," and it's like, so he knows he's not country at all, but they're just gonna keep riding the coattails because the radio lets them.
To be fair, like I have a little bit of respect for that because they're just like we know what we're doing. People eating this shit up, and I'm like, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah, they're not dumb.
People are dumb. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they know what they're selling, and they know that them going on camera being like, no, this is country music, is what people are going to start. Their yes men fans are going to be like, see, they say it's country, so it's country.
And genres change, bro.
Yeah, and no, they don't, because that's literally the definition of genre. But, but yeah. Yeah, Walker Hayes sucks, and his music will suck, and it's going to be the worst fucking album ever released. But anyway, let's get into good country music, Kevin.
Yeah, so anyone who's listening for our topic of the day and is really angry that we started it by talking about Luke Bryan and Walker Hayes, I hope you're still with us. But yeah, Whitey Morgan. I was really excited to do this podcast because I fucking love Whitey Morgan's music. Yeah. I know this is not a surprise to you.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure you've probably said it on at least like half the podcasts that you love.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a shock to anyone else.
Yeah.
I've said many times, and I still stand by that. Cody Jinks and Whitey Morgan to me are the 1 and 2 out there in the making music today, and as far as live shows go, because we saw, I saw both of them separately, as well as when me and Steve went to Indianapolis and saw Cody Jinks and Whitey Morgan, and that was an amazing show. And then I saw both Cody Jinks and Whitey Morgan separately at a bar concert.
And I saw the Whitey Morgan one. So we've both seen Whitey Morgan 2.5 times, I guess, because he walked on stage for the Cody Jinks concert we were at the other week. But so we saw him at Ribco, and then we saw him in Indianapolis.
Yep.
And the Indy concert was just amazing.
Yeah, it's, and I know that we've talked about it before, but seriously, being able to see those two guys in that kind of setting, and granted, I don't know if we saw Cody Jinks at the Tailgate and Tall Boys, which is more a festival thing, but he wasn't the main headliner. But so maybe he gets to the point where he starts doing real legitimate amphitheater type kind of stuff, and maybe he's already doing that outside of this area of this
probably in places of the country that actually respect good country music.
Yeah, but all I think about is like how fortunate we were to be able to see them in those settings where you're 25 feet from them, and everybody in there is just going crazy because they all know like all the words to all the songs, not just like when we saw Cody Jinks in Peoria, and there was a bunch of people not paying attention. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you people doing?
Because they're there for Aaron Lewis.
Yeah, how do you not realize what's happening right now? This is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I want this music to take over the radio.
Yeah, seriously.
Someone with the powers that be give Kevin and I a country station that we can play good music.
Yeah, well, I also just feel like, I don't know how many people would ever show up to a, not to keep bagging on Luke Bryan or Walker Hayes or whatever, but like one of those guys, if you didn't know their music and you just went with some friends to the show, how many of those people are going to be like, yeah, this is great. I'm gonna go home and start listening to them, immediately. But I would say if I brought any of my friends to a Whitey Morgan show, I think by the time they'd left, they'd be like, I may not be super into country because of blah, 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 but that shit was fucking awesome. Well, that was a great show. I want to check them out some more.
Well, we've discovered a lot of artists that way. That's how we discovered Chris Stapleton back in 2015. Yeah. We left just with our minds blown from listening to him. That's how we were with Wheelhouse, which is the Wisconsin-based bluegrass band. If anyone doesn't know, they're really good.
Yes, they are.
They played a country version, Comfortably Numb, and it was amazing.
And they covered Long Hot Summer Day, and it was great.
And then I'm trying to think. There are so many artists that I've left concerts just being like, I didn't know who this guy was, but
oh yeah, I keep going to shows out here in Davenport, just these small venue shows, seeing people that I had never heard of before, and they just rock my face off, with country, I guess. And they're just amazing, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check this out immediately.
Yeah.
And that's 100% how I feel about Whitey. Well, because we did bring a friend to Indianapolis when we went there, and he loved it. Other than we made him drink a lot of beers, and then he felt terrible on the ride home. But he was a fan. Shout out Matt if you're listening.
He made the mistake of trying to keep up with the Hodge Boys, which, no offense to anyone or Pat McAfee, but we're better drinkers than most people I know. So.
We have mass.
Yeah. Hey, it's yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, I just wanted to say that his show was absolutely amazing both times I've seen him. So if anyone who is listening has not gotten to see him live, do it as soon as possible.
Yeah. He's ungodly, just traditional honky-tonkin' fucking country, and it's...
Yeah, it's such a... They have, he has slow songs. We'll get into the songs in a little bit, but he has some slow songs. But then so many of his fast-paced, rockin' honky-tonkin' country songs are just so awesome, and they're just jamming out, and it's just so great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want to see him again.
Yeah, no, me too.
But I don't
apparently he's been to Ribco a bunch of times, so I'm really hoping that he's going to be back here. I mean, I don't know if it's an every year kind of thing. Whitey, if you're listening, please come back.
Fans of Jason Isbell listen to the Jason Isbell episode, so hopefully fans of Whitey Morgan listen to this one. So
yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
So I want to just get into the top.
Yeah, so this week I wanted to do something different because even though I do love Whitey Morgan's music, I listen to it a lot, he's one of Kevin's just all-time favorites. So I was just like, you know what, we're not going to do a top 5. I'm just going to give you the top 10. And I know a bunch of the songs off of it are going to be songs that I love anyway because, like I said, I listen to him just as much, or not just as much, but I listen to him a lot. So I was like, Kevin, you know what, you're getting the top, just give your top 10 today, and we'll go with that.
Yeah, and so some of these don't feel like getting super into because sometimes we try to break down the lyrics a ton, but Whitey really does have a lot of songs that are really just kind of about honky tonkin' and being on the road, and so I don't.
Yeah, they're not like John Moreland deep.
Yeah, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. When I go through 3 of them.
This
in a
one's
row.
about beer.
Yeah, three of them in a row about just going out and tearing the painting the town red or whatever.
Yeah.
But to start, number 10. First of all, this was extremely difficult to narrow it down to 10. Just have to throw it out there. So if anyone's listening and I don't include something on this top 10 and you think it should have been on there, trust me, this was difficult.
That was me for Dirks because if you listen to last week's episode, I'm a huge fan of Dirks. Kevin's just kind of lukewarm on him.
Yeah, I enjoy him, but it's not on that level.
We didn't before we started doing the tops of every week of just kind of doing our top songs of each one. When we wrote out the Brad Paisley ones after the episode had already aired, that one was impossible for me.
Oh yeah,
that one I just had to finally settle on a top 10. I was like, fuck it, this is what I'm going with.
Like I don't know what to do with my hands.
I love every single Paisley episode. I love every single Paisley album, even the ones that people don't like that much because each one has good songs. But yeah, that one was impossible. So yeah.
All right, so to start it off, number 10, I got "Where Do You Want It."
South of Waco, at a place called Papa Joe's, I heard him say so. About a man named Billy Joe got in a tango. Fella pulled a knife, Billy pulled his gun. And the kind of outlaw he is, Billy asked him, "Where do you want it? Parker, where do you want the pain? Hell, I'm a stoner. I'm gonna give it my best aim. Hell, I warned you. I told you, boy, leave me alone. Now I'm asking, where do you want it?"
It's the song about Billy Joe Shaver getting in that bar fight and then shooting the guy. And it's just I just love the line where he's basically just telling the guy, I warned you, I said, we don't need to do this, but I warned you. And now he pulls his gun out and he said, all right, where do you want it? And so he's going to plug him with a bullet, and he just asks him, where does he want it? And I just think that's such a badass line, and the song is just great.
Yeah.
Number 9 I have is Crazy.
I woke up this morning, realized I didn't sleep at all. I crawl out of bed, stumble over to the mirror on the wall. I thought I heard her talking, saying, ain't you had enough? I see you're growing older, boy, but you ain't growing up. I said, hey, Mr. Mirror, is there a reason I can't change? He said, yes. You're crazy by any other name.
Which it kind of, honky-tonking and out on the road and all that stuff, but it kind of comes from the perspective of he thinks about some of his friends who have settled down and he still hasn't. He looks in the mirror and he talks to himself like, what the hell is wrong with you, boy?
This one, when I was just kind of listening to him a bit before we did this episode, this one is the one that has some of my favorite lyrics in country music.
Oh, it's just so well
he
done.
It starts off with, I woke up this morning and realized I didn't sleep at all.
Yeah.
It's that one. And
I love, you're growing older, boy, but you ain't growing up.
Yeah, just so many awesome, just lines like that where it's just this is one that's really well written.
And it's about the honky-tonkin' culture, being on the road, partying, drinking kind of stuff, but it's kind of more from that, a little introspective, and, he talks about a friend that settled down. He's like, I don't know how long you can keep this up kind of thing. And it's just great.
Yeah, it's what we're both crazy by any other name.
Which, crazy by any other name.
I'm pretty sure that just was. I mean, that's if you were someone else, you'd be batshit insane. But for you, it's just normal.
Yep, doesn't matter. You're clinically insane.
Yeah, I love the lyrics in this.
Yeah.
One.
Number 8, I got "Waiting Around to Die," which is a phenomenal song, and I would understand if people would be like, "How do you not have that higher?" I get it. I really do. This is very difficult.
One time friends, I had them all. Hell, I even had a paw. He beat her with the belt once 'cause she cried. She told him to take care of me, headed back to Tennessee. It's easier than just waiting around to die. Yeah, I guess it's easier than just waiting around to die.
It's the Townes Van Zandt song, and he does the cover. And I think he does
isn't this a cover?
Yeah, he does a really good job with it. It's a Townes Van Zandt song, so it's tremendously written. Just kind of talking about being at that point, just waiting around to die, and just going through the motions of getting ripped and then hung over, and just kind of strung out and just waiting around to die, and I just think it's a great song.
Yeah.
Number 7, Bad News.
Bad news travels like wildfire. Good news travels slow. They all call me Wildfire. Everybody knows, hell, I'm bad news. Everywhere I go, always getting in trouble, leaving them girls that hate to see me go.
Again,
bad
he's just kind of saying I'm bad news. No matter where I go. It's pretty simple, but it's a great fucking song.
Yeah.
Number 6, I know Steve will like. I Ain't Drunk.
Oh yeah.
I told him I ain't drunk. Hell, I just been drinking. I started at 5 in the afternoon, Lord, about 3 days ago. Ever since my baby left me, this old heart of mine's been sinking. But I ain't drunk, I've just been drinking.
This is definitely the one I listen to the most. I definitely had to buy that shirt. It just says, I ain't drunk, I just been drinking.
Also bought that shirt.
Yeah, because that lyric is so good, and it's just so funny because it starts off where he's at the bar, and the bartender's like, I'm cutting you off, and he goes, I ain't drunk, I just been drinking.
I started at 5 in the afternoon about 3 days ago.
Yeah. And then it cuts to him like, I got done putting on my show, and then it kind of sounds like he's up on stage, like, oh, they must have liked the show, but then it just goes to, but then he put that spot on me and said, hands on your wheel, buddy, nice and slow,
and step out of the car on the side of the road.
Yeah, and then it turns out he was just drunk driving. The cop pulled him over. That's the spotlight that was on him on stage, quote unquote. That's a great one.
It's such a great song.
Oh yeah.
Into the top 5. Number 5, I got "Ain't Gonna Take It Anymore."
If I'm going down tonight, I'm going down drinking. You spend too much time in this old house sitting and thinking. You've been a thorn in my side since I walked through the door, and this old boy ain't gonna take it anymore. If I'm going down tonight, I'm going down drinking.
I love this song. I was conflicted because I listened to this one and his cover of "Going Down Rockin'" almost equally. I think I listened to this one more, and they both kind of have the similar feel. But I went with this one because I really do love the line, "If I'm going down tonight, I'm going down drinking."
Yeah, I think I listened to the other one more, but that's just because I listened to the Waylon Jennings one. Because anyone who doesn't know, "Going Down Rockin'" is a Waylon Jennings song. Yes. It's on his last recordings album, so I don't think it was ever actually recorded while he was alive. Well, it was obviously recorded while he was alive, but I don't think
heard his voice.
I don't think it was released while he was alive. But yeah, that song is just like. Well, if I'm going down, I'm gonna go down rocking because
and this one's kind of it's from the perspective of he's walking out on his girl, he's done with her shit, he ain't gonna take it anymore, and then he's like hitting on a girl at the bar, and the dude who's with the girl is looking at him just like about to kick his ass, and he's like, all right, grab a 6-pack to go, and ran out the door.
Yeah, well, because doesn't it start off with it starts off with. His woman found his phone, and he'd been texting other women and shit.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, well, I ain't gonna take this.
Yeah, so he's just like, well, screw you too. He does have a lot of cheating songs.
Yeah, well, for anyone who doesn't know, country music has a lot of cheating songs in it because life ain't perfect, and that's why country music's the best.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what I love about these kind of honky tonkin' songs is. In the way that because he talks about basically partying in the looseness of the word partying as opposed to the way douchebag country sings about partying and frat parties. Honky tonkin' is the country version of partying, and he just absolutely hits it out of the park with all of his
kicks it out of the park. So he kicked out of bounds and off the other team's ball.
I saw TV, the dude kick the ball and it baseball's on the TV. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're watching the Cubs lose their 4th in a row and get kicked out of the playoffs.
They're winning right now.
Yeah, but by the time this goes up,
by the time this airs, they will be back home.
They'll be ready to get golfing.
Yeah. Number 4, another cover. "I'm on Fire."
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go away, leave you all alone? I got a bad desire. I'm on fire. But tell me now, baby, is it good to you? Does he do to you the things that I do? Well, I can take you high. Oh, I'm on fire.
I wrote an article about this and put it on our website, countryhodgepodge.com, where it's better than Springsteen's. Don't come at me. It's better than Springsteen's version.
Because
it just is.
While I respect what Springsteen has done to the genre and how master of a lyricist he was and everything, I don't care for the sound of his voice and everything. I think he's just kind of like, he's good, don't get me wrong, but like his sound is just not for me.
Yeah, but then the sound that he gets, that Whitey gets on this, is tremendous.
Yeah.
And then like the lyrics are great, and obviously that Springsteen's got the lyrics, but the way that Whitey does it, I think is just tremendous. Yeah. And so it's just really good.
I completely agree. There was also, I think Old Crow Medicine Show also covered this song, and it was also very good.
Very nice.
But
number 3, Back to Back.
Now we lay back to back after the love ends. Any fool can see what we had is gone. And we lay back to back, acting like strangers. We lay back to back when the love ends done.
This is one that I feel like is kind of more of a. I mean, granted, I don't think that many people outside of obviously his fan base and people who listen to good country music would listen to. So I can't really put my finger on what a deep album cut would be versus what might quote unquote be a single, because obviously he doesn't make music for singles and whatever.
Yeah, and especially with radio, with the lack of radio play they get, you never really know what a single is.
Well, exactly. But this is one that I would kind of feel like would have been kind of more of a deep album cut, and I love this song so much because it's all about he's with his girl, and they're just basically they've fallen completely out of love, and so he just sings about. They make love, and then they just lay back to back and don't talk to each other, and just spend the rest of the night. And they act like strangers, and I just think it's a great song, and I just think it's really interesting from that perspective. Because then there's a lot of other songs that I love that are kind of like it's like the song "My Bed" by Sonny Sweeney featuring Will Hoagie,
or even Back to Back by
whatever, however you pronounce his name.
It is Hoagie. It's also just like Back to Back by Rich O'Toole.
Yes,
which is a different song, but
it is a different song. Yes,
it just has the same kind of meaning behind it.
Yeah. Number 2, Still Drunk, Still Crazy, Still Blue.
Still I keep rolling, rolling through, and I'm still drunk, still crazy, still blue. Well, I'm still drunk, still blue. I'm still all fucked up over you. I'm still stoned, I'm still alone, and I'm still wrong.
This song is fucking amazing.
This is actually the song that got me into him. This is the first one that came on my Discover back when I first heard Whitey Morgan, and this one I was just like, I'm in love with this dude.
I mean, granted, I'm a huge fan of swearing, as you can probably tell, and the way that he builds through it, and then in the last kind of bridge or whatever you call it, he says, "I'm still fucked up over you," instead of saying "I'm still strung out," and I really like that build to just like, fuck, just shitty, and it's as you can tell from the title, it's about being drunk, crazy, and lonesome, basically.
That's definitely the one that got me into him, and that's the one I probably listen to the most by him. If not, I Ain't Drunk.
Yeah, and then number 1, my absolute favorite song. It was the first one that I heard by him.
Body Like a Back Road.
Shut your fucking face. It's the first one that I heard by him, and still for sure the one I listened to the most. And top, 3 moments in concert history for me was when Cody Jinks came on stage and sang this with him when we saw him live. It is Sinner. This song
by Aaron Lewis.
This song is fucking amazing.
By Aaron Lewis.
The guitar work, the fast pace, it's just
by the lead singer of Stain.
Would you shut your goddamn face?
Baby, I was born a sinner.
This song is phenomenal.
Yeah, I love this song so much. Again, this was an extremely difficult top 10. The only one that I knew from the start that I was going to have was Sinner being number one, but then the rest of it was just really difficult. He doesn't have, a huge selection of music, which is that much more, makes it that much more impressive that he has, 3 albums of music, and it was really difficult to narrow that down. Yeah. Especially because I wrote it out by album, kind of like which songs I knew I wanted to consider for the top 10, and in my opinion, Sonic Ranch is just such an awesome CD from start to finish that I was just like, I don't know what I would even want to keep out of this album.
It's his newest one, right?
Yes. And it's just such a good album that, because that's how I got to Memphis. Amazing song.
It's a cover.
Yeah, but it's an amazing song.
Oh, I know.
So, that's what I'm
saying.
Like,
For the
that's
audience,
how,
Kevin.
Yeah. But that's how I got to Memphis, and Going Down Rocking. The covers are fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Cover songs.
Even though
Low
me
Down
and
on the Backstreets.
Kevin both disagree that I think the Waylon version's better. Kevin likes the Whitey version.
I do like the Whitey version better. I realize how blasphemous it can sound to say someone did anything that is Waylon's better than Waylon. However, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I like Thomas Rhett's cover of Silver Wings better than Merle.
I will fight you right now.
I don't know if that.
I don't know
if that's ever actually happened, but
and even if it did, I will kill you.
I'll kill you. Yeah. Anyway. You were talking about other songs on that album.
No, I was just basically, I was just talking about, I think that album from start to finish
Low
is
Down
just,
also?
Sure, yes, Low Down the Backstreets, Me and the Whiskey. There's so many songs that are great.
Me and the Whiskey, that one would have been
exactly.
on my top 10.
Then this is exactly what I ran into. There's and then from some of the older albums, like Goodbye Dixie is one of my favorite songs from his first album.
I prefer Hello Dixie.
Would you shut the fuck up?
Okay, I'm turning my mic off.
It's just, he has so many songs. There's not a single one that I don't like from all of his music, so I had to go through, all right, now what do I do?
I don't know, that song where he raps with Kid Rock was kind of shitty, but it doesn't actually exist.
Well, they are both from Michigan.
Yep, exactly, so they make love to each other. I think that's how it works, right? All the Michiganers... I don't know. Just kidding. I like Michigan, except the Lions. Go Bears.
Pure Michigan.
But so Whitey Morgan.
That's my top 10.
Yeah, so he's one of Kevin's 4 horsemen, as he calls them.
Yes, I have a 4 horsemen playlist.
Yeah, where it's literally just the discographies of Whitey, Cody Jinks, Luke Combs, and Josh Ward.
Yeah.
And did you add Luke Combs' new album to that list?
No, I did not.
Yeah, okay.
It was Luke Combs from his EP
first 3
back.
EPs.
Yes, from his EP back. Because if you listen, apparently a lot of people have listened to that episode.
Yeah, that's our most listened to episode is the Luke Combs by a couple hundred.
I'm kind of lukewarm on some of the stuff he's done on that new album, but you can't take away the fact that his voice is booming, and he has a lot of really good songs. I put that playlist together because it was when that EP came out and Josh Ward's album came out, and then I had just started really getting into Whitey and Jinx, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm into all these dudes right now.
Kevin's gay.
And I'm making a playlist, and it's going to be badass. And that's one of the playlists I listen to most, really.
Yeah, so is that it for this?
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Whitey's great, listen to him.
Yes. That is the point of this podcast. We're trying to get people to listen to good music. If anyone hasn't known... you probably have no idea who we are or care who we are, so it's whatever. So this week, there's a lot coming out this Friday.
Is there a lot that's good coming out?
Yeah. Yeah, because first you got Turnpike Troubadours.
Yes.
Long Way From Your Heart.
They've had 4 singles pop up on Spotify, and they're all very good because Turnpike is amazing.
Yeah. It's really good. My arm's fat. Next is the all-new Opry member Chris Young's Losing Sleep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this one, I'll listen to it because I've listened to all his music, but if it's anything like his last album, it's going to be generic.
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
And that song, Losing Sleep, which is the lead
the Justin Bieber song?
It's ungodly bad. But, yeah, if he can go back to, neon-type quality music, then awesome. But if he's going to do another I don't even remember what the last CD he came out with was called because it was so just mediocre. Saturday Night, Sober Saturday Night, is that what the album was called? I don't know. That song was on it, and that one's actually not a bad song. That has Vince Gill in it, but
I don't even know.
Yeah, that one's actually not bad. It's forgettable, but not bad. Then it's Dory Freeman, Letters Never Read. I listened to some of her stuff, and she's pretty good. Margot Price, All American Made.
Margot Price is great.
She's from 20 minutes from where we live. She's awesome. She was there. I mean, we talked about it the other week, but she opened for Chris Stapleton, and she was amazing.
Yeah,
and her first album is awesome. So I'm going to safely assume that this new one is going to be just as good. This one is another one that I'll listen to, but I don't have my hopes up for. Darius Rucker, When Was the Last Time? Because I really like Darius, but recently his music has...
Go back to Hootie.
Yeah, well, his first 2 albums were super good, and then he just started releasing very generic pop country, and he pretty much went downhill when he released the Wagon Wheel cover.
Yeah, No, I saw him live...
We saw him last year sometime, I think.
Yeah, like I saw him when that was that was his single or whatever, and I liked...
Well, he did that, and the song So I Sang.
Yeah, well, so I would say I liked about 85% of the show, and I liked it a lot because he plays Hootie songs, he plays his old stuff that's really good.
Played Prince.
Yeah.
Played Family Tradition.
Yeah, he played Family Tradition that one time.
Yeah,
and so he was really good, but then, he played that homegrown whatever the fuck song, which is just trash. He played Wagon Wheel, and his cover of it's just fucking trash. But yeah, so hopefully he goes more in the veins of his first album than the last bit.
Yeah, so that one I'll definitely listen to, but yeah. Ruthie Collins, Get Drunk and Cry. That song was really good. She's really good except one song she released. It's like a techno version of Simple Man, and it was just kind of...
Yeah, I was confused by that.
I mean, it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't very country.
Well, yeah, no, I was just confused.
But she's really good. Then Mike Ryan, Blink You'll Miss It.
Yes.
Very excited for this because if you haven't heard Mike Ryan before, listen to him. His new songs off the new album are Sad Song, New Hometown, and then what was it called? The Rewrite? Which
I don't know if it was just called The Rewrite or it was Rewrite or something like that. But
like that. But that song, he played it when we saw him at When You Say Smoke Out earlier this summer, and it was so good. Because it's just pretty much like he had this love song for his girlfriend, but she's gone, so he had to rewrite it.
And it's just really good.
Yeah.
It's a little spiteful and it's great.
Yeah, and then finally, there's going to be more because there's always more, as I say every week.
Yeah, you bastard.
Every Friday I go on iTunes and Spotify and stuff and just try and find the new music, and there's always more than I realized. And we always discover awesome people like Harper Gray when I discovered that album, which, again, I'm still listening to because it is so good. I just wrote an article about Good in Your Goodbye. Listen to it.
That's a great song.
Read it. But finally coming out is... I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry. Mike Mangione. Mangione? Mangina? I don't know.
Mike Mangione.
Yes, there's an accent on that. Mike Mangione and the Kin. The album But I've Seen the Stars. By the time this goes up, I'll have a review up for the album. It's really good. It's like folk meets rock meets orchestral background.
Yeah,
and
I heard a little bit of it when you were playing it. It sounded very good.
Yeah, it's a really good album. So yeah, that review will be up by the time this podcast hits. Well, maybe. Unless you're listening to it like the second I put it up, and if that's the case, stop creeping.
No, if that's the case, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, anyway, so that's all coming out this week. Those are all very good albums.
Yeah.
Most are very good albums. Some we'll see if they're very good albums. But anyway, Kevin, and actually that's kind of leads into what we're listening to because I have been listening to that, but I've seen the Stars album in preparation for this review, and yeah, like I said, it's really good. The other thing I've been listening to is the song that Kevin added to his Picks of the Week playlist, which I'm going to plug because it's a good playlist and everyone should subscribe to it.
Yeah,
is the song That Seat Saved by Kendell Marvel.
Yes,
I am obsessed with that song right now.
Right?
I ain't looking for no trouble. Don't wanna cause a scene. I'll gladly get your next round if you'll move down the seat. that was taken. I'm sorry, friend, but I'm hoping any minute now she'll walk in. I can't guarantee without a doubt today'll be the day. Oh, but either way, just in case that seed saved.
It's
Right?
so good.
Right?
It's, anyone who doesn't know, well, one, listen to it. I might splice it into this podcast as a clip, but maybe not, because I probably will.
It's just it's like the perfect throwback to the kind of like, I would say, I don't know, 70s, 80s, 90s, somewhere country where it's the sad song, and I don't know, it's like kind of George Strait feeling, like that
I
kind
kind of got a feeling of George Jones.
George,
from it.
yeah, no, exactly. It's just
And the
such a good
song, if I did put in the clip, you've heard it, but if not, because I might be lazy, I don't know. The song, it's pretty much like he's sitting at a bar next to an open chair, and this guy sits down, and he goes, "No, you can't sit there. That seat's saved for." And it's pretty much like, my girl walked out on me, but I'm just in case she ever walks in and sits down with me. This seat is safe for her.
It made me feel like a lot of the old time songs, but also the one song that really popped into my head was the way it's written, being like "Every Light in the House Is On" by Trey Atkins.
Yeah, that's
like just in case I'm going overkill.
Yeah, so it's, like when, for anyone who doesn't know what that Trey Atkins song, it's his girl walks out on him and he goes, "I'll leave a light on in case you want to come home." And she's like, "Oh, that's fine." And then he goes, "Yeah, so I'm leaving every light in the house on." He goes, like, our front walkway looks like an airplane strip.
Like runway lights.
Yeah, and so it's one of those types of songs. And
it's tremendous.
I've been obsessed with that. What about you, Kevin? What you listening to?
Just going off of that, I've really been digging that whole album. Kendell Marvel's whole album. Is
Jamie
just
Johnson
really good.
is on it.
Yeah, it's just really good. He's a guy that's written for a lot of people for a long time. He co-wrote that Lonesome Song that Jamie Johnson did, which is one of my favorite songs. And he also co-wrote some stuff with Stapleton. And one of the songs on Stapleton's next album,
From A-Room Volume 2.
Volume 2
Yes, we talked about that.
Is the one song from this album, the Getting My, like, Untangle My Heart or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I've only listened
Untangle My Mind, I think is what it is. Yeah, and so that's on Stapleton's album. So it'll be interesting to listen to his version,
because his voice is amazing.
It really is.
Anyway, I'm coughing. I'm not as dying as I was the last few weeks of doing this podcast.
Thank God.
Yeah, right. Because now I can run again, and it's awesome. Even though I'm fat and I'm slow, but you can find us countryhodgepodge.com. As we said, that's our site. We try and put up articles every day. We've been failing recently because busyness and whatnot. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all Country Hodgepodge. Spotify, you can find Hawks lose. Spotify, you can find the playlist that I put up every week of the songs that we talk about on this podcast. So you can listen to all the songs we've talked about. So they're all good because they're all songs like we've talked about. It's called Hodgepodgecast Picks. You can find me on Spotify. Just find Steve Hodge and you'll find it. I think, like I said, Kevin's Picks of the Week playlist. It's on the website, actually. There's a link to it, but otherwise you can go on Spotify, search the username Donkey Factory, one word, really dumb.
Greatest name of all time.
And yeah, you can subscribe to that. I also have a shit ton of other playlists that you can listen to if you want.
They are really good, though.
If you want to buy our dumb shirts, like Kevin's going to get one. It's just one of our shirts. It just says Sam Hunt Sucks.
It speaks to me as a person.
It just reaches into your soul. I have one that says Simpson, Isbell, Stapleton, Moreland. It's just an Americana shirt that's, I don't know, I think it looks cute. But yeah, so if you want to get any of those, they're on the store link on our website. Please help us not be poor. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Steve Hodge Music. You can find Kevin on Twitter at Chargeford, spelled how it sounds.
Also a great name.
Yeah, so that's it for this week. next week we're going to talk about Sam Hunt, so stay tuned. So until next week, I'm Steve Hodgen for Kevin Hodge, as always, saying goodbye, good night, and good Charlotte.